What is the one thing that any organization in any sector or region of the world could do that would transform the organization and lead it to having the following four outcomes, all from one project? Number one, it would increase talent attraction and retention. So you would get the best employees and they would stay and be happy to work with you. Number two, it would increase your customer loyalty and your brand reputation. So you would have more customers associating with your brand and you would have stronger credibility, which attracted even more customers to you, and their loyalty would be unquestioned. Number three would be positioning yourself to attract more investor funding, new investor funding, and to be able to, even in times of downturn, economic downturn, you would be growing. And number four, it would support your ability to problem solve and innovate and create solutions that you could take to scale that ultimately could lead to a growth of up to 10 times of your organization's current revenue and investment into the company. What is that one thing? And the answer is social purpose. Social purpose is aligning your business practices to a purpose that matters, that answers the question, why do we exist in the world and how do we make the world a better place? So we move beyond profit to look at huge problems that matter to humanity and to the world and aligning ourselves and what is unique about us to addressing those issues. Now, for many organizations, purpose is actually already alive and self-evident, and when we find the actual language that supports and brings it to life in language, everybody already recognizes that that is the purpose you've always been living into. So it is not something we create out of nothing. It is actually finding the language and the words to describe what you're organically already doing, but in a way that resonates with everybody and that helps you align with your North Star. Social purpose is literally your North Star, and it is powerful because it is not an outside in discovery, it's an inside out discovery process that really just brings what's authentic about you to life in a way that affects your brand, your operations, your products, your services, and just brings a crystal clarity to who you are and why you exist that is powerful and transformative beyond your belief. According to Deloitte, 70% of Gen Z and 56% of millennials would rather take less money to work for a company that had a strong social purpose than take more money and work for companies that was simply driving profit. In fact, I recently met a lawyer, a very competent, engaged, amazing, smart lawyer at a conference who said the exact same thing to me. He said, I quit my law job. I was making a ton of money, but I had no purpose in life. And I chose to work in the not-for-profit sector where I could wake up every day feeling good about what I am doing and why I am doing it. So social purpose matters because our young generation want to get up every day and know they're contributing to something meaningful. And here's the thing that organizations need to understand. We all have a social purpose, whether you are a law firm, whether you're printing paper, whether you are disposing of garbage, we all have a social purpose. So it's not a matter of, oh, well, it doesn't apply to us. It actually already exists, and it's a matter of us doing the work to uncover it and leverage it in a way that is authentic to who you are and what you do in the world. Now, a tip for those who are doing social purpose work is that we need to align our internal values with our external impact. That is very important. And so part of the early stages of this work is actually doing mapping to discover what are the values that not that we put on our walls and that we say we live by, what are the values we actually live by, and how do they resonate with our customers? How do our customers already see us? And what is true for everybody as we're trying to understand who we are already organically in the world. A great example of a company that has a North Star that's leading its work is Patagonia, that really cares about the environment and that is using some of its profits to support environmental initiatives, sustainability, working with local communities. So it is possible. It is possible for all organizations in all sectors to be purpose-driven and to find and use their purpose in a way that really elevates everything they're doing authentically. Having a social purpose is a game changer because it impacts all the internal metrics within an organization that matter to us. So from attracting top quality talent to when we look at our employee surveys, you see an increase in sense of purpose, an increase in sense of pride in the organization, an increase in well-being and retention rates, an increase in people feeling like they have job satisfaction. And all of this ties back to having a social purpose. Why does social purpose matter to an organization? Well, if we just look at the metrics of employee engagement and customer loyalty alone, those two sets of metrics go up as a result of driving social purpose work. So the Harvard Business Review has shown that employee engagement increases by 30% when an organization has social purpose coming to life, and it increases customer loyalty by 40% when that organization is driven by social purpose. And Ben & Jerry's is a great example of an organization that sells ice cream, but because of what it stands for in the world, because of its stand on climate change, on the current issues against deportation and immigration, the issues around LGBTQ plus rights, like they have a long-standing reputation of selling ice cream, but with a purpose. And they use some of their profits to support some of those causes. So when it comes to a customer standing in a store trying to choose between chocolate chip ice cream from this company or Ben & Jerry's, if they care about these issues, if they stand for the same values as Ben & Jerry's, where do you think they're going to spend their money? They're going to buy Ben & Jerry's. This is powerful because more and more customers are choosing where they spend their dollar, and they make that decision based on companies that are doing good in the world and that they relate with and whose causes they support. And so it literally comes down to, do your customers know what you stand for in the world? And do they relate to it, and do they resonate with it? Because if they do, that's where they're going to spend their money. How does social purpose impact an organization's culture? Well, when an organization has a strong social purpose, it affects the culture. Employees are connected to a bigger mission than just profit, which increases their motivation, which increases their productivity, and increases their sense of pride in the organization and the work they're doing. A 2022 report by McKinsey showed that organizations that had a strong social purpose had 50% higher and better employee engagement rates than organizations that did not have a social purpose. So this is huge for our internal metrics and for our staff feeling like there is a reason that they get up every day, and it's more than just making a paycheck. Because if you're anything like me, that paycheck is just not enough. Salesforce is a great example of a company that can demonstrate how social purpose impacts culture because they support many initiatives, including volunteering, raising funds for environmental and social justice issues, and they have a strong support for diversity, equity, and inclusion. And all of these have led to employees feeling like their culture aligns with their social purpose. Now, an important tip for organizations doing social purpose work is to integrate it into day-to-day operations so that we continue to see demonstrated actions that align with that purpose. So whether it's supporting environmental initiatives or working on community projects, or thinking about how to support marginalized communities in the work that we're doing, it needs to show up on a day-to-day basis across operations and become a way of thinking and being that we operate in, no matter whether we're in finance or marketing or working in customer sales and sharing solutions with the world. How can social purpose drive and build customer loyalty? Well, a strong social purpose will actually create deeper connections with customers because they want to align with companies that share their values, and they want to align with companies that are also doing good in the world. In fact, in 2023, a research study done by Cone Communications showed that 87% of customers chose organizations that had strong social purposes and that were involved in environmental and social initiatives. A great example of an organization that does this well is Tom's. This is a shoe company that has a one-for-one program. And in that program, every purchase that is made for those shoes leads to a donation of a pair of shoes to somebody who needs them. Now, many customers want to see that their purchasing decisions are leading to them feeling good about how they're spending their money and them making a difference through their brand loyalty with a company that does good in the world. So you can see the connections there really, really well. A great tip for organizations who are doing social purpose work is to make sure that you are communicating all of this good work that you're doing, and that you're doing it in an authentic and genuine way, so that it shows up in different social media platforms, in your marketing newsletters, in your outreach to customers. Whatever it is you're doing, you're telling the story of the amazing impact that is being made with the choices that your customers are making with how they're spending their money, and the lives that are being transformed in that process. How can organizations measure the impact they're having through their social purpose work? Well, there are at least 4 metrics that we can start with, but measuring and telling the story of the impact through this work is absolutely key. The first one would be measuring community engagement, measuring employee satisfaction, measuring environmental impact, and measuring our brand reputation and perception. These are 4 key metrics that we can use to show change over time. According to the Harvard Business Review in 2021, companies that were driven by social purpose had a 21% increase in profitability compared to companies that did not have social purpose driving their work. So this is huge for profitability and for revenue. And also important is being able to tell the story quantitatively and qualitatively of the other types of impacts that we're having through our social purpose work. So that's a tip for those of you who are doing this work. Don't forget, qualitative is just as important as quantitative data. And if you need support and help with figuring out how to do that on any of the metrics we've talked about, I'm happy to help. Unilever has long been a leader in tracking and communicating the impact it's having through its work, including the impact on the environment, its social impact and community impact, and all the work it's doing internally around employee engagement, satisfaction, diversity, you name it. And so they have a sustainable living plan that communicates all of these metrics, and that has helped drive profitability by aligning what they do and how they do to their customers' values. Well, there you have it. I think I made the case pretty strongly that social purpose is a missed opportunity for organizations who are not already thinking about it. And for those who are, there is a process and an approach that we can take that really helps you transform everything internally, externally, and it's all driven and guided by your North Star. And every organization, don't forget that, every organization has a social purpose that it is already organically aligned to. We may not see it, we may not have the language to express it, but once we do, activating it and having it transform what we do and how we do is truly powerful. And I would love to be your partner in that journey and support you, whether it is being a speaker to share this information and engage interest in it, or whether it is supporting you in the process as an expert consultant, so that you too can live into your purpose and transform who you are and why you exist in the world today.